All right, let's dive into the incredible and, often heartbreaking story of a true Bollywood legend. So, to really get who Rekha is, this total enigma, right? We're not going to start at the beginning. No, we're jumping right into one of the most scandalous moments in Bollywood history.
Picture this. It's the wedding of the year. Rishi Kapoor and Neetu Singh. Every big star is there. But suddenly, all eyes, and I mean all eyes, turn to one guest. It's Rekha. And get this, she's single, but she walks in wearing a Mangalsutra and sindoor. The symbols of a married woman. The entire room was just shocked, especially Jaya Bachchan.
But that moment of defiance, it didn't come out of nowhere. No, this story starts way earlier, with a childhood that was just filled with abandonment and so much pain. So, her father was this massive superstar in South India, Gemini Ganeshan. A huge deal, but he was already married. And Rekha, his daughter with actress Pushpavali, he just never publicly acknowledged her. She was his illegitimate daughter, completely abandoned. And here's the part that just guts you. He would drop off his other kids at the same school Rekha went to. Can you even imagine that? Watching your own father, your appa, dropping off your siblings, and he just looks right through you. Never even a glance.
And of course, the cruelty didn't just stay at home. It followed her to school. Kids can be so brutal. They called her illegitimate. They bullied her for having darker skin. It got so bad that she just couldn't take it anymore. She dropped out and had this dream of becoming an air hostess, just to get away from it all.
But you know how life is. It had other plans. She was 13 and too young to be an air hostess, so her mother, well, she pushed her into the one thing she never wanted to do, acting.
So there she is, just 15 years old, and she gets cast in this movie, Anjana Safar. And what happened on that set? It was a trauma that would stick with her for the rest of her life.
Okay, this part is just horrifying. The director and her co-star, who was 32 by the way, they planned a non-consensual kiss without telling her. For 5 whole minutes, they just held her and kissed her while the cameras rolled. She was a kid, 15, left in tears, and the crew, they apparently cheered. It's just unbelievable. And years later, she talked about why they did it for their own personal and financial benefits. Just a cold, calculated move. What a brutal welcome to an industry that was going to chew her up and spit her out, but also somehow make her a superstar. But here's the thing about Rekha. She refused to be broken. Even with all that trauma, even with critics calling her fat and dark, her first big movie was a massive hit. Boom! Overnight star. And that success, it lit a fire under her. She began this absolutely stunning transformation, both physically and professionally, that just shut all those critics up for good. But for all her success, people who knew her said the movies were never really the point. What she was truly looking for her whole life was the love and acceptance she never got as a little girl. Her first big public romance was with the star Jitendra. And how did that end? With him publicly calling their relationship a time pass. Just wow. Talk about reinforcing all those feelings of being unwanted that had been haunting her since she was a kid. And then came the big one, the relationship that would pretty much define her entire life and legacy. Her rumored affair with the biggest star of them all, the already married Amitabh Bachchan. So remember that wedding scene after Rekha showed up like that? The story goes that Jaya Bachchan invited her over for dinner. And she supposedly told her, straight up, Amitabh is mine and will always be mine. The lines were drawn. In the end, their whole love story played out and ended on the big screen. The movie Silsila was basically their real-life love triangle put on film for the whole world to see. And after that, they never worked together again. That was it. You'd think after all that pain, she deserves some happiness, right? She marries this businessman, Mukesh Agarwal, and for a second, it seems like maybe, just maybe, this is it. But the marriage just fell apart. She found out he was struggling with chronic depression, and she felt like he just wanted a trophy wife. And then the absolute worst happened. Just a few months into their marriage, he took his own life. So now she's completely broken. The media is cruelly blaming her for his death.
She's all alone again. This is where most people would just disappear, right? But not Rekha. No. She rose.
And then comes this moment. Honestly, one of the most powerful moments you'll ever see in cinema history. Her father, Gemini Ganesan, is getting a Lifetime Achievement Award. And who do they ask to present it to him? Rekha, the daughter he abandoned.
Just imagine being on that stage. But she didn't meet him with anger. She met him with grace. It was her ultimate triumph over all that pain. She stood there, shoulder to shoulder with him. And because of that moment, she actually got to have a few years with her father before he passed away.
And let's not forget her career. The achievements are just staggering. We're talking over 180 films. 180. That's just an insane testament to her talent and her work ethic.
I mean, we're talking national awards, a Filmfare Lifetime Achievement Award, even a seat in Parliament. She built this legacy that almost no one can touch. And the key is, she did it her way. She became this incredible symbol of female strength, totally independent, and really paved the way for other actresses to take on these powerful, complex, leading roles.
So when you look back, her life was this constant, painful search for love. A love that, by all accounts, she never really felt she found. So after all that, all the heartbreak, what is she? What did she become?
She became something so much more powerful.
She's a survivor who literally turned her pain into power. She's a superstar who owned every single frame she was in. And more than anything, she is an icon of resilience. She is living proof that you can build an entire empire from the ashes of heartbreak.